Hi everyone, today is October 17th, 2020, and this is the Duel Assessment, your podcast for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. My name is GreenRanger. This week, not a whole lot to talk about, but we're going to have a double feature with Doug Dimmaduel this week. He got really excited with the XZs being brought to Duel Links. So there's two decks this week he's going to go over, two decks to help you play XZs. Bujins and Gravekeepers. Bujins already have some XZ support with the box that came out and also in XZ's monsters. Gravekeepers don't. So check out what he has to say about how to build those decks. And if you're generally trying to get an idea of how to build those decks or apply them to other archetypes, he has some ideas on that. So he has two decks this week. We're going to talk about esports for a little bit. Get a sense of the meta as it is right now. The nerfs are officially live for the card list, at least. The skill nerfs, I don't think are active yet, but in the tournament setting, it's all active. So talking about a settling meta through all that with the XCs, and also the stray events this week, Duel Grand Prix, and there's only two new cards from that, and also the new card from Tour Guide Bingo. Alright. So as for myself, I am sadly still in a life funk ever since my job has required me to work different times every day, kind of. It's really unexpected, so really I'm just out of energy. That's just how it is. So I've not really been active online or anything like that. Hopefully I can find a way out of this, but right now I have to keep going at it until I finish. But There are signs of life in Duel Links. While I have been playing the Duel Grand Prix, I've been enjoying it a lot. I've been playing the same deck in Duel Grand Prix and in Ranked Duels, and it's a deck that works really well. I'm enjoying the Duel Grand Prix, trying to get through that, and then I'll switch over to Ranked completely. But I've been playing Ranked, and I've been playing Restart Card Curries. The way that they build the deck now with the balance format, if you will, with 7 spells and traps. So this deck, let me just say what it is. 2 Kunamzan, only have 2. Some decks are running 3 now, so I can't really do that now. 1 Hypa, 2 Nanishi, 3 Merchant Inasachis, 1 Forbidden Lance, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Cache, 1 Gamma Oil, 1 Fiendish Chain, because that's all I got. 2 Cash In, 2 Karma Cuts, 1 Bad Aim, and 1 Cash Shed. And, some things I'm thinking about this deck, whether I should run 2 Forbidden Lances and 2 Cosmic Cyclones. 3 seems like a bit much. 2 Gamma Oils. You could tutor Gamma Oil with Inasachi, so there's not really a point in running 2 unless it is a late game thing. It's a little win more if you have another Synchro monster that's already dead. You could bring it back and power it up some more with Gamma Oil. It's a really nice card. It's an equip spell, but it's really good for equip spell. And that's why some people run 2 of it. Bad Aim. I just love this card. I think I used my my UR Dream Ticket on this card, actually. Now that I think about it, because I was trying to find something to buy, and I didn't really buy anything from this box. So it was a really good investment. At first, I didn't really know how to use Bad Aim, I must admit. Cash In's good. Karma Cut's always good. Cash Shed is situational, but good. Yeah. And then, the Players deck, Restart. Some people in the tournament scene are doing pretty cool things with this deck. I'll explain more in the esports section, but Restart, you're looking for Nanishi and Merchant. You're looking for Merchant in general. Merchant and Kunamzan in the hand would be great, because then you could fetch Gamma Oil and then get the Synchro Monsters out in the same turn. Some decks are playing with the level 4 Soldier, Nisamu, I think. That's the 1400 when he's destroyed by battle. Special summon a monster from the deck. They're replacing Hypa with the Nisamu, but I'm just going for the offense right now. Yeah, not much to say. Really solid deck. You could definitely hit King of Games with a Restart Card Curry deck. I just haven't been grinding in the games that I should. But it's a deck that you could easily hit King of Games with right now. Take a look at esports this week. We're in a weird time where the meta is settling, and as expected, XCs didn't really make much of an impact with its first arrival. Anyone could have seen it coming. We have the earliest versions of XC's cards, so you can't really touch the previous meta. And of course, the limit list and also the nerfs to certain skills and buffs to certain skills have happened. So all that is culminating into this meta right now that we're in. And looking at Duel Links Meta Weekly number 146, of course the headliners are we have this new split in Shiranui with combo and control. Karakuris have picked up steam. Despite them getting a nerf, they're adapting. We'll talk about that. Shiranui is still around. Black Wings, Cristrons, Invoked Droids are the new entry deck, of course, in the meta. So first place, Zenith. Peak performance, Black Wings. All the nerfs this time, Black Wings didn't really get hit by anything, I don't think. I don't recall all the nerfs. Again, talked about that a few weeks ago, but Black Wings didn't really have anything this round. This is a pretty basic deck that they've been running. 3 Simoon, 1 Bora, 2 Zephyros, 3 Gales, 2 Chris, 1 Orochi, 3 Black Whirlwinds, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Offerings to the Doomed. I just lost against this deck, and the draw power of the Black Whirlwind pretty much wins them the games. Very aggressive deck. And look at the side deck to evaluate the meta as is. System down shows you Karakuris, Cristrons, Invoked Droids. A lot of matchups are hit by system down. Second place, Kamina Pro, Sorcery Conduit, Invoked Droids. So basically it's like similar to Element Sabers, very similar deck. And they have 3 of a field spell that you kind of tutor what droid you want onto the board. And, Alistair, of course, and Invocation. These Invoked Droid decks always run 3 Alistairs. And that's because the power of the field spell isn't really what it was for the Element Saber field spell. But they do it with Submarine Droid hitting for 1800 direct attack. It's kind of a fair burn deck. And Rescue Droid is their fire for the Purgatrio. That's really why you play Invoked, because of Purgatrio, and Kite Droid to Natural Droid. So the traps will continue to shift based on the meta. This is the general good trap cards. You can't really go wrong with these. 3 Fiendish Chain, 2 Floodgates, 2 Bad Aims, and 2 Karma Cuts. Up 4, Irving, See You Later, Dark Magician. Not much to say about this deck. We've seen Dark Magician a ton. 1 Magician of Dark Illusion, 1 Kaiku, 2 Magician's Rod, 3 Dark Magician, 3 Circles, 1 Herald of the Abyss, 1 Illusion Magic, 1 Eye of Timaeus, 3 Magician Navigation, 2 Paleozoiconida, 2 Karma Cuts. And top 4 Myth Yard, Level Augmentation Combo Shiranui, 3 copies of Spirit Master. That's what you notice with this deck. The combo version works really good with the Sealing Ceremony of Catan. And Ghost Meets Girl is another signature card in the deck. Alright, let's go to the stick with Duel Links meta. Meta Freakly number 5. Again, Karakuri dominated, but they, deck is evolving despite the nerfs to Restart and also Nanishi. Witchcrafters have completely fallen off, I think, in this week. That's one takeaway. First place, Ohaimi, 1337. Restart, Parshaf Karakuri. This is a new twist here. So there's 2 things going on here. There's a Karakuri shift where you're seeing 3 copies of Kunamzan and 0 Hypa. Hypa's been replaced by Nisamu. We're seeing a trend there. More Gamma Oils, of course. We're seeing decks run 2 Gamma Oils instead of 1. This deck takes advantage of Cash Shed being a counter trap and having Rebirth of Parshaf. 3 copies of Rebirth of Parshaf, 2 copies of Ultimate Providence. Now you're playing a restart deck. You're basically playing a balanced deck, and you need 7 spells and traps. So this Parshaft move is a really good move. Half of the traps are Rebirth of Parshaft, and that lets you get around a dead hand. You play restart, you're looking for a merchant or like Nanishi and Cache. That's how you want to open. With the merchant, you could tutor out the Kunamzan and whatever, right? Let's say you restart and then you still don't get a hand. You have a dead hand, you pretty much lose the game. With Rebirth of Parshaft, you're pretty much extending your hand. You would less likely restart. You would take Parshaft and a counter trap, and you're good because you'll get a monster on the board. You'll get the Avenging Knight Parshaft to pretty much counter anything your opponent plays, and then put a free monster on the board. So that's pretty nice, pretty good thinking to get around the dead hands that come with Karkuris. Second place, Eric's Master of Fusion Hero deck. Hero decks are rising. A bit more of a complete deck than it was. 1 copy of Plasma, 3 Ferris, 3 Stratus, 2 Malicious, 2 Vision Hero Increase, 1 Celestial, 2 Vision Hero Vions, that's the semi-limit, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Form Change, 2 Forbidden Chalice, 3 Mask Change, 1 Polymerization. It's much more complete. It's a good mix of cards. The older version didn't have as many different monsters or different numbers of monsters. Top 4, yugioh with level duplication Cristrons. Non-sea stealth attack version. Of course, Psychic Wielder is pretty much a core card in this deck. This is a deck with a lot of level 3 monsters, and I could see them being an XZ's deck down the line. Right now, this deck just runs 7 Synchro monsters. That's fine, since these are pretty much really good Synchro monsters, but down the line, I'm seeing a lot of level 3s in this deck, and they could be good for some level 3 XZ's plays. This deck also runs 2 copies of Crystron Impact. You don't really see that a ton. You typically see like a Ryan in a split. And top 4, Blackstake Restart Karkuri. Instead of the counter trap package, they have generic good trap cards, 2 Phoenix Chain, 2 Bad Aim, 1 Cash In, and 2 Karma Cuts. No Cash Shed. I guess if you really like Cash Shed, you're going to lean towards the counter trap version. Alright. Last thing we're going to talk about is Le Hotel Cup number 4. This one has a lot of Dark Magicians, which I'm not a fan of. First place, Anthox, Destiny Draw, Invoked Roids. I think it's time to put this deck into the tier list. It's not going to be in the tier list, but I think it's time. And this one's a little different from the one we saw previously. 2 copies of Fusion Reserve to help you draw some of your Roid monsters. Yeah. Second place, YX NGA Hassan, Balance Karkuri. This one's spicy because it has 1 copy of Spiritualism. This is a card that's been in the trader since the beginning of the game almost, and it's kind of like a 1-card Hey Trunade. Return a spell or trap your opponent controls to the hand. Its activation and effect cannot be negated. So it's like a 1-card Hey Trunade. I really don't know why this card didn't see more play, but cards like Night Beam, Fire Formation, Gyaku, all those cards, and of course Cosmic Cyclone got play over this card. Now we have this card. I don't know why. Well, obviously, Hey Trunade is gone because of Nanishi being semi-limited, but I don't understand playing. Well, I'm trying to think about why you don't play Night Beam over this, but this can return a field spell. I guess this can return Necrovalia. I guess that's the point. Spiritualism can counter Necrovalia. That's why you play it over Night Beam sometimes. Anyways, this deck, 2 Kunamzan, 2 Nanishi, 3 Nisachi, 1 Nisamu, 1 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Cache, 1 Spiritualism, 1 Gamma Oil, 1 Gold Dust, 1 Floodgate, 2 Paleozoic, 1 Cash In, 2 Karma Cuts. I mean, we see almost every Karakuri deck's more than 20 cards. This one's exactly 20. Run some unconventional choices as well. Interesting deck. Top 4, Yasser HL, Endless Trap Hell, Invoked Magician Girls. Magician Girls, cycle cards really good. Chocolate, you draw, discard, draw. Barry, you could tutor anyone you want. I'm not really sure what Apple does, but she recycles. She's fire. You need a fire for Purgatrio, so that's why she's there. And Invoke decks all look the same, pretty much. They run a lot of their trap card decks. And 2 Ballista Squad, 1 Phoenix Chain, 2 Floodgate, 2 Paleozoic, 1 Bad Aim, 2 Fusion Reserves for drawing, and 2 Karma Cuts. I guess that's the advantage of the Magician Girls. They cycle so well, you don't need a field spell like Mega Void City. Okay. Top 4, Damalus, Restart Karakuri. So yeah, Restart versus Balance. They both force you to run the same type of deck, where it's a very balanced deck, where there's monsters, spells, and traps in almost equal numbers. The debate between Restart and Balance in Karakuri will rage on. Basically the same deck, though. This one does main Necro Valley, which is interesting, but you have incentive to run your best spells and traps. In a tournament setting like this, it's a pretty good play. Okay, that's interesting. There's a Gookie deck that runs Firm as Earth. Alright, let's talk about the tier list update. Pretty much the same. Well, they did the tier list update before some of these tournaments. This is kind of like midweek tier list update. And tier 1, we have combo Shiranui and Karakuri. I think Karakuri pretty much will stay. Both of these decks probably stay based on the numbers we've seen. Tier 2, Black Wings, Cristrons have been dropped down. Ritual Beast and Witchcrafters. I think Witchcrafters are going to fall. I don't see them pretty much anywhere. Tier 3, Promotion of Heroes and Control Shiranui stays. Off the tier list are Invoked Magician Girls. Not enough of them, I guess. They're going to have to fight being a meme for a bit, but they're always going to fight that battle. Alright, let's talk about the Turbo Duel Grand Prix. I like the Turbo Duel Grand Prix. It's a way for players to earn their ranked rewards when they hate playing ranked duels, so it's nice to escape the meta, even though we have a new meta. It's kind of the same meta, so if you're tired of all that, you could do this. It's like the meta, but you could use those dual counter skills, so it's more fun. I've actually been doing more of this instead over the ranked duels this week, and it feels weird not counting the counters. I guess I really like the turbo dual counters to draw cards and stuff. And I really got like Jack Atlas's skills. The motorcycle plays really well with Karakuri's, I've noticed, so that's what I'm running. And in this, I'm in the Master Cup right now, so it's a little grindy in the Master Cup. I've noticed you have to win like 3 games to get each level up, but it's not a win streak. I think that's why it's much more easier to play Turbo Duel Grand Prix, because you don't need to win games in a row, which is the main criticism of ranked duels or any competitive games. But 2 new cards in this pool, a lot of old cards. Let's talk about the new cards. Dragon Knight Draco Equisti, Wind, level 10, Dragon Fusion. Fusion between 1 Dragon Synchro and a Warrior. 3200, 2000. Must be fusion summoned. Once per turn, you can target 1 Dragon-type Synchro monster in your graveyard, banish that target. If you do, until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's, and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. While this card is in attack, your opponent takes any effect damage you would have taken from their cards instead. Alright, lots to unpack here. First of all, it's clunky. It requires a Dragon Synchro and a Warrior. You're going to have to build your deck that way. It sounds clunky, but there's a way to do it. And we received Miracle Synchro Fusion. It's just an R in some box, so I think it's a box with a ninja. I'm not sure exactly, but it's just an R in a box, so it's easy to get. And the easiest way to do it, I think, is to get Black Rose Dragon. Your opponent has a board. You make Black Rose Dragon somehow, easily. Blow up the board. Use Miracle Synchro Fusion with Black Rose Dragon and some warrior you have. And then you could swing for game. This guy has 3,200 attack. So, that's kind of like a package play. It's nice. If you're running a warrior deck and you have the ability to make Black Rose Dragon, you could include this package. Seems more fun than good, but, I'm all about fun sometimes. And yeah, it's not horrible. It's still a cheesy combo, but it's a combo. And the problem, of course, is that with this, you're just attacking with this guy. This card has the ability to copy a monster's effects. You're not going to want to copy Black Rose Dragon again and blow yourself up. And then there's this last ability. When it's an attack, and your opponent takes any effect damage you would have taken. Effect damage has been nerfed. It's not really relevant, that ability. And we can't play Mirror Force or a Magic Cylinder, I mean. The other new card is Archfiend Interceptor, the football monster. Level 4, Dark Fiend, 1400, 1600. While you control this face-up attack position card, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, inflict 250 damage to your opponent. A card severely hurt by nerfs. Of course, so it used to be the TCG version is 500, Duel Links 250. Burn Stall card, classic Burn Stall card. You put this in attack, they hit you, you just keep blocking it. So you would run some kind of annoying trap deck, and you just keep blocking. You could use like Sphere Kribos, you could use Howled Life Barrier, you could use Rainbow Life. Any of those cards, keep blocking them, and this card will keep dealing damage. The only way I could see this being used is you're using an Odeon Chain Reaction deck or something. Endless Trap, Hell, Chain Reaction, whatever. And you just keep burning your opponent down. Because Burn has been nerfed, this card would have been pretty good with 500, but with 250 it's pretty bad, I think. Burn Stall is going to fight an uphill battle. They might annoy the hell out of you with some wins, but they're not powerful anymore with this nerf, so I'm not expecting this card to be too annoying. Alright. So, we're going to cheat a little bit and talk about a card from Tour Guide Bingo that has not been released. We're going to get it soon. But because I am starved for game content, we're going to talk about the card, and that's Antidote Nurse. This is a card that's not in the TCG. It's just straight out of the anime, I believe, out of Zexal. It's kind of Minecrafty. It's a Minecrafty card. It's like a cartoon, but it's a level. I have to penalize myself here. Rank 3 Light Machine XZs, 1800, 1200. It requires 3 level 3 monsters. During the damage step, when your opponent battles, you could quick effect detach 1 material from this card. It gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. During the damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster's attack becomes its original attack. Interesting. First of all, it's a nurse with an antidote. The translation in Japanese is vaccine gal, so that's interesting. It fits into our current pandemic world. We're looking for the coronavirus vaccine. It isn't here yet as of this recording. It fits. But anyways, back to the card. The ability where you detach an Xyz material, you can quick effect gain 1,000. So quick effects are nice because they can react. You could basically use it as like a trap, as a defensive mechanism against your opponent as a trick. And they swing into this Antidote Nurse, you detach material, become 2,800, you could beat them in that fight. This card also comes with a debuff ability if your opponent's getting buffed. So debuff them, make them have their original attack. There's various cards in the meta right now. Black Wings, they get a buff from Peak Performance. Harpy's Hunting Ground. any invoked monster that gets a hand buff from Alistair. Tie That Binds. Evil Eye Celine, if you see her. But I think the card this is most effective against are question mark monsters. So Grand Maju the Aiza, Fortune Lady Every, they're going to be 0, so this card can swing into them, hit them for basically 2,800. That's pretty good. Of course, the 1,800 quick effect, 2,800. That's just short of 3,000, which is kind of where you want it to be, but there's a lot of effects going on here, so you can't fault this card too much. It's a little situational, but it's a fine choice for as an Xyz play for level 3 monster decks. I just talked about Cristrons. They have a ton of level 3 monsters. This could sneak in as an Xyz play. Probably down the line we get better Xyz monsters. This won't be played, but I think it will see some play just with the scarcity of Xyz monsters we have right now. Probably will sneak into some decks that have the ability to spawn a lot of level 3 monsters. Alright, so now it's time for Doug Dimmaduel's Casual Decks of the Week. It's a double feature with Doug Dimmaduel. First up are Bujins. Bujins, I don't know if they were ever a tiered deck in Duel Links meta, but they were pretty close. They were a very good deck. Plenty of people hit King of Games with them. Definitely very fun to play them. But now they have Xyz support. They have their own Xyz monsters. One of the first Xyz archetypes to lead the way. So Doug Dimmaduel has one of those Bujin decks for you right now. And then afterwards, he has a personal favorite of his, Gravekeeper. So Gravekeepers Xyz. Think about those monsters. They're primarily level 4 monsters, so I expect something with that. With the Gravekeepers, and that's one of the less conventional ones, given that Gravekeepers don't have their own Xyz monsters. I don't know if they have an Xyz monster in general, but they don't have one in the game currently. So here is the double feature with Doug's Casual Decks of the Week.
Hey there, this is Doug Dimmaduel with Doug's Casual Deck of the Week. So, this was an archetype that I used to play quite a bit when it came out in Duel Links, and now it's been given new life thanks to the new Xyz monsters. So, that archetype is the Bujin archetype, right? We got a lot of hand traps, we got a lot of graveyard effects, we got a whole lot of stuff that you could really change up your strategy, but I'm using this deck to kind of play more so to the hand traps, particularly Bujingi Crane, which is a level 4 winged beast, 1600 attack, 300 defense. During damage calculation in either player's turn, which is important, if a Beast Warrior type Bujin monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you could send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and the attack of your monster becomes double its original attack during the damage calculation only. Now, you used to not go any further than 4,000 attack because your strongest Beast Warrior Bujin was Bujin Hirume, but now we're talking about a potential for 4,800 attack because you have your Bujinte Susanoo, which is the new Xyz. It's only a rare in the newest box set. It requires 2 level 4 Bujin monsters. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, take 1 Bujin monster from your deck, and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only control one of these monsters. You can't control more than one. Then we also have Bujinte Tsukuyomi, which is more so an Xyz card where if you're relying more on the cards that are going to be more effective from the graveyard, this allows you to discard your hand and draw. So once per turn, you could detach 1 material, send your entire hand to the graveyard, minimum of 1, and if you do, draw 2 cards. When this card you control while face up leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can target 1 level 4 Beast Warrior Bujin monster in your graveyard up to the number of Xyz materials this card had on the field. Special summon one of those targets. You can only control 1 Bujinte Tsukuyomi. So Yeah, it really adds a new level of excitement and fun for this deck. You could run your generic level 4s like your Gaga Cowboy, or if you have 3 of them, you could do your Stellar Knight Deltaros too, so you could pop a card on the field. Really have a lot of fun with the extra deck, play around with different combinations, but you're going to have basically the deck that I run is an entire deck build of level 4s. So you could get into your rank 4 extra deck plays very easily. But yeah, you run those 3 copies of Bujinji Crane. You run those 3 copies of Bujin Yamato. That is one of the best cards in this deck. It allows you to search and discard. So during your end phase, you can add 1 Bujin monster from your deck to your hand, then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, so you can only control 1. Then you also have Bujinji Crow, which is level 4 winged beast, 1700 attack. When a beast warrior type Bujin monster you control is targeted for an attack by an opponent's monster, send this card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the quarter of the attack. You can only use this effect once per turn, but yeah, it's really nice. I like the stall factor. It allows for not only your opponent to take some burn damage, but it also maybe allows you to save one of your monsters for the next turn, so you could summon another level 4 and then get into your Xyz plays and start getting into your extra deck stuff. So because of the way that this deck is now set up, and because we're trying to get into rank 4 plays, Bujin Harume is probably one of the best cards to have. As long as you have any Bujin card in your graveyard, aside from Harume, you can banish it and then discard a special summon onto the field. And it's got 2,000 attacks, so it's still pretty good. Then we also have Bujin Mikazuchi, which if a Bujin is destroyed or a Beast Warrior type Bujin is destroyed, you can then special summon this card onto the field. Now, as for my graveyard monsters, I don't have too much, but I have Bujingi Quilin, which you could banish it from the graveyard to destroy a face-up card, and then I'll run my 2 copies of Bujinji Sinew, which basically you can... during the damage step or during the battle step, you can banish it from the graveyard and increase your monster's attack by, what is it now? So you can banish this card. That monster you control gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster it's battling. And if it does, all battle damage your opponent takes from that battle is halved. So, and then for good measure, 1 copy of Venus Chain, just because. Maybe you could do a treacherous trap hole or something like that, just for giggles. But all in all, I'll run this with the Warrior of Hope number 39 skill, just to have that extra monster in my in my extra deck. It's nice to have eight monster extra decks. I cannot complain about that. But really, the whole point of this is having Bujins with their Xyz monsters makes this deck super crazy, super lethal, super easy to use in a casual setting. I'm very impressed with with the new mechanics. Again, I have a little bit of a background because that's right when I was getting back into the TCGs. The TCG duels was when these rank monsters were coming back in or coming into the game. So pretty neat stuff. I love this deck. I think you should give it a shot, even in a casual setting. So that's it for my casual deck of the week. I will see you next time. Take care. Hey there, this is Doug Dimmaduel with Doug's Casual Deck of the Week. So, with the recent addition of the 7th extra deck slot, which is really one of the things I've been dying to see in the game, and with the inclusion of the Xyz, whatever you call it, I've always thought it was pronounced Xyz, summoning mechanic. I'm pretty stoked about a lot of these... just a lot of these extra deck cards that we're able to play with. So with that being said, I want to dust off some old archetypes that I've enjoyed playing in the past that now it can add a little extra spice from the extra deck with some of these generic rank 4 and rank 3 plays. So one of the first things that come to mind is Gravekeepers, right? Gravekeepers, always one of my favorite archetypes in the TCG, and for a while I just enjoyed playing the deck in Duel Links. Only thing I'm missing out is that one Gravekeeper that searches Necro Valley, but hopefully they put that in the game soon to make things a little bit more consistent. But let's start with our main focus on the extra deck. We got that Grenosaurus, which is the 2 level 3 monsters to make a rank 3, 2,000 attack, 1,900 defense. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can detach 1 material from this card and inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So pretty good. There's a few level 3s in this deck. You have your Gravekeeper's Priestess. You have your Gravekeeper's Headman, which allows you to take a level 4 out of the graveyard. And then you have your Gravekeeper's Nobleman. So you have a few level 3s in there. That's why I want to start with that rank 3 Xyz monster and just go from there. If we could flood the field with multiple level 4s, we could use our Stellar Knight Deltaros, the warrior Xyz monster that requires 3 level 4 monsters, 2500 attack, 2100 defense. While this card has material, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you normal or special summon a monsters. Once per turn, you could detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 card on the field and destroy it. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you could special summon 1 Stellar Knight. Well, that effect isn't going to be used in this deck. But then, another rank 4 monster that you could get, you got your number 39 Utopia out of the main box. Requires 2 level 4 monsters, 2500 attack, kind of our generic boss monster for the new summoning mechanic. When any player's monster declares an attack, you can detach 1 material from this card, negate the attack. If this card is targeted for an attack while it has no materials, destroy this card. And then, just for good measure for the burn capability, Gaga Cowboy, the rank 4, requires 2 level 4 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, and if it's in attack position, this card gains 1000 attack if it attacks an opponent's monster, and that opponent's monster loses 500 attack during the damage step only. But I like to use this more for the defense skill, which is you remove 1 material and inflict 400 damage to your opponent. I wish they would have kept the 800 damage like the original card stated, but I know that they're adjusting burn damage because of the speed duel format, and that's fine. But yeah, just in case you're in a pinch, you're near the end of the duel, your opponent's down pretty low on life points, you could just burn for game. Cowboy is a very satisfying way to end any duel. And then for good measure, we're going to have our 2 copies of Gravekeeper Supernaturalist. It just requires 2 Gravekeeper monsters, 2000 attack, 2000 defense. It gains attack and defense equal to the combined original levels of the monsters that were used as materials, multiplied by 100. And also while Necro Valley is on the field and any card in your field zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. Then also it has a search function where you could activate the skill, and even if it's not on the field at the end of the turn, you could still search at the end of your turn for any Gravekeeper's card. And then we have Quintet Magician, just 1 copy of it. It requires 5 spellcaster-type monsters. I do run enough different Gravekeepers in this deck where I could use 5 different spellcasters to then blow up my opponent's entire board. That's one of the win conditions of this game. But because now we have these level 4 monsters and these rank 4 and rank 3 Xyz cards, it makes the deck just a little bit more dynamic. So the deck is made up of my 3 Gravekeeper's Spy, which is a level 4, my 1 Gravekeeper's Priestess, which is a level 3, that basically acts as a Necro Valley when there's no field spells in any field zone. Then I'll run my 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Descendant, which allows you to pop a card on the field by tributing one of your other Gravekeeper's monsters. Then just 1 copy of Gravekeeper's Guard to send a card back to the hand. Your 1 copy of Gravekeeper's Headsman. 3 copies of Gravekeeper's Nobleman, which is a searcher and level 3. So when it's destroyed by battle, you could then set a Gravekeeper monster in face down position. I think it has to be a level 4 or lower. And then one of our big drivers, the Gravekeeper Spiritualist, the level 4 monster that as long as there's a Necro Valley on the field, you can get into a fusion play using Gravekeeper Spiritualist and whatever other cards as materials. Now, what card was pretty underrated in the old Gravekeeper's deck builds was Necro Valley Throne. Not because it was just a generic searcher to search out a Gravekeeper's monster, but the second effect now. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Gravekeeper's monster. You can only activate 1 Necro Valley's Throne per turn. So what this does now is add an element of getting your Xyz plays set up. If you have 2 level 3s or 2 level 4s in your hand, you could use your Necro Valley Throne to special summon one of those level 4 or level 3 monsters, overlay, and get into your boss monster, or at least one of your monsters like your Utopia or even your Grenosaurus if you have level 3s. So, yeah, this does spice things up a little bit. I really like it. You could use the skill overlay gain to give a nice little attack boost to your Xyz monsters. Yeah, I think it's really, really neat. It's a fun deck to play. I may do a few more of these in the coming weeks with some with some Duel Links decks that I enjoyed playing, but now because of the new additions, it really breathes new life into older decks. So with that being said, that's it for my casual deck of the week. I will see you next time. Take care.
Alright, thanks a lot for the 2 decks, Doug. You can check out Doug's Casual Deck of the Week every week on this podcast. He'll be brewing up some new Xyz decks. Probably very excited about that. So, check out Doug's Casual Deck of the Week every week on this podcast. And check out his own Twitter account at Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck Talk. Upcoming news. There's not much time left in the month, and they have 2 events, so I'm thinking there's going to be 2 of these events going on next week. But Duelist Road Clash at Crash Town. New skill for Kalen, Shell of a Ghost. Wandering Duelist, Axel Brody, most likely. It's not official, but I'm pretty sure it's Axel Brody. New UR Inferno, and SR card Volcanic Slicer. I'm thinking I think Brody might come on Tuesday, and then this Clash of Crash Town might happen Thursday, because that is this Turbo Duel Grand Prix is going to end on the 22nd, so I think that's how it's going to go. They're going to stack Axel in between those 2 events because he's just a roaming duelist. New Legendary Duelist in the last week of October is Zexal. It's Shark, I think. And then late October Mission Circuit, new SR card called Playmaker. We're not in Brains yet, but the new SR called Playmaker. We're going to wrap up. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you have any ideas for me, want to communicate, I'm at GreenRanger CCG or the own account at Duel_assessment. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. Search the Duel Assessment and you'll find this podcast, and all these notes are on the duelassessment.wordpress.com. Alright, have fun, and I will see you next time.